Communication is a complex process. The words we use and how we use them, the tone and pitch of our voice, the non-verbal messages we send, how we give and interpret feedback are only part of the communication process. The objectives of this DVD are to analyse components of non-verbal communication. We are going to show you examples of people sending messages and show what takes place when the communication is ineffective and how the situation can improve when the communication is effective. Another important component of effective communication is body language. Did you know that over 55% of the messages you send are sent through your body language? In most cases, our non-verbal messages are more powerful than what we actually say. Take a look at this. Was this a successful meeting? How were the relationships between the people? Could you see any body language problems? Do you think you'd have a different opinion of the situation if you could hear the words being spoken? Let's find out.
So go ahead with the redesign of the warehouse, Diane.
Well, we'll hear what the people from the work group have to say, but, frankly, I can't see them telling us anything we don't already know.
Right.
Come in. Sit down. I'm glad you could make it. We've called this meeting to discuss plans for the redesign of the warehouse.
Right, well, we had a meeting with everybody that works in the warehouse and we've come up with some ideas that we think might make it more efficient.
Well, Jeff and I are always interested in hearing ideas from the shop floor, aren't we, Jeff?
Yeah.
OK, let's have a quick look at them.
Well, Mary, Mike and I believe that some of the stock is badly positioned.
Do you now?
Well, the P300s are our most popular item, but they're difficult to reach on the top shelf.
Actually, we put the P300s on the top shelf in the first place because they are extremely light.
Yes, but because they're in such demand, I'm spending half my day going up and down the step ladder. I mean, it's a waste of time, especially when the ladder's never there when I need it.
Well, we considered that when we put the P300s there, but there are so many heavier items that have to go into that area that we decided the P300s just have to go on top.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Yes, it does. That's if you assume that those heavier items should be stored there, but we don't believe that they should.
So then, what's your suggestion?
Well, we believe that there's a lot of wasted space in the area by the back wall near the stairs. Now, we think that if there were shelves there, we could store the heavier items that are slower to move, like the A70s or the 72s.
And what do you suggest we do with the stock that is by the stairs now?
Well, we believe there'd be room for all the stock to fit on the shelves if it was properly laid out.
Oh, OK then. Well, you've obviously given us some food for thought. Jeff and I will discuss it and we'll get back to you shortly, OK? That's fine.
So, Diane, what did you think of our suggestions?
Yep, they seem okay. Either
Yeah.
Jeff or I'll get back to you. Okay.
Everyone who speaks has a voice. It's just the outcome of how your voice is used that affects the situation. The pitch and tone is more important than the words we use in delivering the message. It's the way she said it that made me mad. Ever heard that before? Let's see how the same messages are communicated when the body language is positive.
You've decided to go ahead with the redesign of the warehouse, Diane.
Yes, but we'll wait until we get some input from the work group. I mean, yeah, they're the ones who work there, so they should know what the real problems are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be interested to hear what their solutions are. Come in. Ashley? Hi.
Hi.
Mary, come on in.
Hello.
Have a seat.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm pleased to see you. We've called this meeting to discuss ideas for the redesign of the warehouse and store area. And both Jeff and I are really looking forward to hearing your solutions.
Yeah, we sure are. The more input we get, the more likely we are to get a good result.
Great. Well, we've had a meeting with everybody in the warehouse and we've come up with some suggestions that we think might make it more efficient.
Well, let's see what they are.
Well, we believe that some of the stock is badly positioned.
Yeah, go on.
Well, the P300s are our most popular item, but they're hard to reach on the top shelf.
Well, we put them there originally because they're so light.
Yes, but because they're in such demand, I'm spending half my day going up and down a step ladder. It's a waste of time, especially when the ladder's never there when I need it.
Well, we considered that when we first put the P300s there, but there were so many heavier items that had to go into the same area that we decided the P300s just had to go on top.
Yes, well, that's if you assume that those heavier items should be stored there, but we don't believe they should.
So what's your suggestion then?
Well, we believe that there's a real waste of space in the area by the back wall near the stairs. Now, we think that that area could be utilised better if there was shelving for the heavier items that don't move so quickly, like the P70s or the 72s.
So what about the stock that's by the stairs now?
Well, we feel with a little careful planning, it'll fit on the shelves as well.
Well, that sounds good to me. What do you think, Jeff? Think it'll work?
I think we should discuss it with maintenance and we'll get back to you when we've costed it.
Hey, good idea. Now, are there any other suggestions you wanted to make?
Can you see the difference? The greetings set the tone, didn't it? First impressions and greetings are vital. This time the managers looked like they wanted to hear. Their body language was positive. Even the seating at the table encouraged discussion. As a result, the managers appeared friendly and interested. The workers felt they were listened to, and their ideas were taken seriously. The combination of positive body language and the way the managers used their voices led to a successful outcome. Dale Carnegie once said, "When dealing with people, remember you're not dealing with creatures of logic, but creatures of emotion." So what you say and how you say it is a vital component in communicating effectively. What you say and how you say it is a vital component in communicating effectively. When people receive written instructions that are confusing and ambiguous, it can actually lead them to doing something that they were not supposed to do. Our thoughts are rich and complex, and the language that we use often doesn't do justice to what we're thinking. Often the words we use don't come out the way we want them, or mean them to. The objectives of this DVD are to realise the importance of tailoring your language to suit a particular audience. One-way communication can be misinterpreted when it is ambiguous
The expansion in extraneous spending.
and there is no opportunity for clarification and feedback. We are going to show you examples of people sending messages, targets,
By 5%.
timelines.
The 10th of June.
The meeting was better organised with an agenda and a chairperson. All of these points might seem like common sense, but do you use them when you deliver your messages? Communication is a complex process, whatever the size of the organisation we work in. Our position of authority in that organisation, whether we deal with internal or external customers, we all need to communicate effectively with others. What happens when we don't hear it all, though?
Information gets distorted.
What happens when we don't hear it all, though? When information gets distorted?
Saw a lot of rubbish lying around here this morning. He asked if you could tidy it up before somebody has an accident.
He just told me to stop what we're doing and clean up this mess because the safety officer says there's been an accident.
This is often where problems begin.
Look, what's all this about someone being injured and this big safety inspection?
All of these points might seem like common sense. But do you use them when you deliver your messages? Do you use them when you deliver your messages? People's perceptions often differ. In this day and age, when time is such a precious commodity, messages can easily get lost, buried, and misinterpreted. Communication barriers, things like accusing, blaming, jumping to conclusions, and value judgments can go up. The importance of giving verbal and looking for non-verbal messages are crucial. Knowing about actively listening and questioning techniques is essential. Often there is a difference between what we say, and what we think we have said. When communicating, it is important to remember that we all perceive situations differently. Our perception involves selecting, organising, and interpreting information so it has meaning for us as an individual. Naturally, this interpretation will be coloured and shaped depending on our background and experience. It does not mean that the situation has the same meaning for others. Put simply, often we see what we want to see and hear what we want to hear.
Thanks, Gary. I try to do my best.
All of these points might seem like common sense. But do you use them when you deliver your messages? Communication is a complex process. This DVD is designed to highlight a crucial but often ignored part of the communication process, the ability to listen effectively. You need to stop talking. Pay attention. Clarify. Ask questions. Respect the other person's right to have their own view. Effective listening requires a combination of skills and a desire to understand how another person sees their world. All of these points might seem like common sense, but do you use them when you deliver your messages? Communication is a complex process. Listening effectively is not an easy process. We speak at about 150 words a minute. But our brain has the capacity to absorb about 650 words a minute. This gives us lots of spare time to tune out and tune in. It is important to deal with emotions before tackling problems. We are going to show you examples of people sending messages. Watch what can happen when two people have poor listening habits. All of these points might seem like common sense. But do you use them when you deliver your messages? Remember when you were inducted into your current workplace? What did it involve? Was it structured or informal? Was it useful? What parts could have been improved? What were the good parts? Sometimes you need to slow it down, ask questions, make sure things are clear. One of the biggest communication barriers is when speakers and writers assume that the people they are addressing know a great deal more than they actually do.
Make sure you read the appropriate MSDS form thoroughly before you decant them. Now you'll find one in the HasChem storehouse behind lower level 9.
Got that? Probably not, because the safety officer used jargon and slang. The objectives of this DVD are to identify characteristics of an effective communicator, discover the most effective way of delivering information to a group of people. We are going to show you examples of people sending messages. The safety officer addressed participants by name. He explained jargon and technical terms. He demonstrated the equipment he was talking about. He asked questions to clarify meaning. He involved participants in the session.
Could you tell them what a material safety data sheet's for?
At the last It is important to remember that we are all different. We have different beliefs, different mindsets, differing ages, different cultures, stereotypes, assumptions and languages. All of these points might seem like common sense, but do you use them when you deliver your messages? Do you use them when you deliver your messages? Did you know that over 55% of the messages you send are sent through your body language? In most cases, our non-verbal messages are more powerful than what we actually say. The objectives of this DVD are to analyse components of non-verbal communication. We are going to show you examples of people sending messages. As a result, the combination of positive body language and the way the managers used their voices led to a successful outcome. All of these points might seem like common sense, but do you use them when you deliver your messages? Do you use them when you deliver your messages? The communication process involves a person sending a message and someone receiving the message. The major barrier to mutual interpersonal communication is our natural tendency to judge, to evaluate, to approve or disapprove the statement of the other person. Often there is a difference between what we say and what we think we have said. Communication barriers can also be highly damaging. They can turn things bad very quickly.
Well, it seems to me that people in this organisation spend far too much time causing trouble rather than getting on with the job that they are paid to do.
Oh, really? Well, I don't know whether you can afford to talk about that.
And what does that mean?
The objectives of this DVD are to develop rapport, gain information, clarify positions, establish facts, and promote understanding. All of these points might seem like common sense, but do you use them when you deliver your messages? Do you use them when you deliver your messages? You know, effective communication isn't easy. It has to be considered, and you have to be aware. How well we communicate with others is vital to our success at work and in our personal relationships. Communication is a complex process. The objectives of this DVD are to identify characteristics of an effective communicator, discover the most effective way of delivering information to a group of people. We are going to show you examples of people sending messages. In this example, Jack hasn't planned what he was going to say. He didn't anticipate likely responses to his message. His use of fillers, made him look unsure and unprepared. He didn't use visual aids to support the spoken words. He didn't answer questions satisfactorily. Jack should have focused on the points he needed to make. All of these points might seem like common sense. But do you use them when you deliver your messages?